Hi friends, Hal here. You've come to Quail Studios Guitar, helping you to develop into the kind of musician you've always wanted to be. Today we're going to talk about effects pedals, specifically the Hall of Fame 2 Reverb by TC Electronic. And I'm going to walk you through the knobs, the settings, the sounds, and the history even behind the sounds and how we got there. Also, a little later on, we're going to showcase the sounds in a way that I haven't seen anyone else do. And at the end, we're going to talk about effects pedals in general and how you can get to know them better. Now, if you've come to this video looking for how to play a specific song or music theory or technique on the guitar or something like that, please go to our YouTube page and look through the playlists there, because we've got something for you, whether you're a beginner, intermediate, or advanced player. Okay. Let's get started on the Hall of Fame 2. When we look at the pedal, we see a foot switch, outputs, inputs, 4 black knobs, a light here, and a little switch right here. So let's talk about everything. First of all, let's talk about the inputs. You have a stereo and a mono input, and then you have an output here. The mono is here, the stereo is there. So if you have stereo signals that you want to put in, you can do that. If it's just mono, you just take these two right there. Mono in, mono out. Next you have your foot switch. It turns on the unit. If you gently push it down, and then you'll notice that this light comes on, and then if you push it harder, it comes on even brighter. That's the mash technology engaging. Let's talk about these 4 knobs now. Here is the level knob. If you turn the level all the way down, then you're just going to hear your guitar. If you turn the level all the way up, then you're just going to hear the reverb effect. When I start playing, I'm going to start it right there in the middle and see what it sounds like. Here's the decay knob. This means that if the decay is turned all the way down, then you're not going to hear any decay in whatever effect that you've engaged. And this is the decay all the way up. I'm going to start the decay knob with it in the middle. Here's the tone knob. This is a tone control for the actual effect tone, not your guitar or bass guitar or keyboard or whatever it is that you plug into this thing. It's the tone of the reverb that comes out. I'm going to start it in the middle. This is the pre-delay switch. Short is up, long is down. I believe this is when you pluck your guitar or hit a note, that there's a short or a long delay before the effect actually engages. And this can actually give you more articulation if you let it come in at a little bit later time. Let's go back to the level knob for a second. Sometimes when we talk about different sounds, effect sounds, there's a dry sound and there's a wet sound. So the dry sound would be your instrument without the effect. The wet sound would just be the effect with none of your instrument in it. So that's why I'm going to start the knob right in the center so I can hear my guitar. I'm going to use a guitar for this. And I can hear the effect really well. Let's talk about the 11 position selection knob right now. We're going to start on room. That's talking about the kind of reverb that you're going to hear out of a small room. So of course you can turn up and down your delay time, and that will make it sound as if it's a little larger, but still you're going to get the kind of ambiance that will come out of a small room. The next position, the second position up, is called hall. And this is talking about a larger hall, like a dance hall, a concert hall, something that's got a longer reverb to it. Several seconds, not just a little bit. And so it's going to give you a bigger, fatter sound. The next position is spring. And what that's talking about is a spring reverb like you would normally get in a Fender Twin reverb amp or something like that. Back many years ago, 30, 40 years ago, we used to have spring reverbs inside our guitar amplifiers. And when you turned on your reverb, the reverb was created by an actual physical spring. And if you accidentally bumped it or something, you'd hear this It was kind of crazy. The next position is called plate, and that is talking about a plate reverb. A plate reverb is an actual metal plate that they would use in analog recording studios way back in the day, back in the 60s, 70s, 80s, before digital became really big. And I still have friends that use a plate reverb. It's actual, I've seen one that's 4 feet by 3 feet, and they have clips on it, and there's wires going into it and everything. And so it creates this really cool sound with this metal plate. It's not too thick, it's kind of thin. I'm not going to get into all that. You can look that up if you want to know more about plate reverbs. The next position is called church. And this is referring to the kind of sound that you would get in a large church. Now, many years ago, back in 1975, I sang in St. Mary's Cathedral in San Francisco. And that's actually called Cathedral of St. Mary of the Assumption. It's a Catholic church. Sounds wonderful when you're in there singing. I've also sung in St. John's Cathedral in Los Angeles. That's an Episcopal church. Wonderful big sound. It's just amazing. Of course, the sound you get is just a natural reverb sound that it goes out and then it echoes around and it just goes forever. So this is probably like a 12, 13, 14 second delay that you're going to hear. So you've also got the option of turning your delay up and down with that big fat sound. The next position on the TC Electronic is called Shimmer. And this is actually adding an octaver to the church mode, I think. Something like that. So what you're going to get is you're going to get this sound, and I'll demonstrate it in just a little while, that has these octaves, and I think it almost sounds like 2 octaves above. It might be just an octave, but I don't know. To me, it sounded like there was a lot of stuff going on. The next one is called mod, and what that is that's a modulation mode, some kind of modulation in the sound. Sounds great. You can play around with it and decide what kind of effects you want in your own sound. The last one is called Lofi, L-O-F-I. It means low fidelity, and so I think it's more of a covered sound, not so bright as some of the others. The last 3 positions, it says 1, 2, and 3. These are actual programmable tone prints that you can either program yourself or you can load in tone prints from the internet onto your phone and then load it into your guitar. It's kind of cool. You hold your phone up to the guitar pickup and it loads it into the unit. I'm not sure how that works. You can look that up. But I was looking at the TC Electronic website, and there's tone prints that I found from people like Steve Vai and Steve Morris and Doug Aldrich from Whitesnake, Mark Lettieri from Snarky Puppy, Lee Ritenour, John Petrucci of Dream Theater. There's just so many artists there from so many different bands, and some of them are very classic rock bands, and some of them are alternative bands and that kind of thing. So the next thing we're going to do is actually play through this, an amplifier that I have, and my electric guitar, and see what kind of sounds we get. Here we go. Here is the guitar without any effects on it. Okay, now here is the effect. Okay, what I'm doing is I'm on the room setting with the decay. You can see what I'm doing. I'm going to turn the decay all the way down for a sec. Let's see what it sounds like with nothing. You can hear a little reverb in there. Here's a little bit longer. See that? Turn it up to halfway. See that? Okay, but let's look at this unit with the decay all the way down. That's the room setting. Here's the hall. You can hear that there's a little bit more depth in it. And I've got the decay all the way down. Here's the spring setting. Can you hear that? It's almost like a slap echo. If I turn up the decay a little bit, There we go. Okay, back to decay all the way down. Hear that slap? Let's go to plate. Okay, that's like a slow slap. Okay, let's go to church. A little bit different. Let's go to Shimmer. Let's turn that decay all the way down. Interesting. It's got like a little delay on it, and then it with the octaver on it has an interesting sound to it. Okay, let's go to mod. You don't really hear much on that because the modulation is really short. Okay, let's go back to room again. If I step on it, what I mean, if I engage the mash technology, what it does is it turns up the volume or something. Nope. Here, let's I think it affects the level. Yep, there it is. So on room it affects the level. I think the same thing happens with hall. Let's turn the level up halfway for this. Woo! You can hear the hall reverb, spring reverb. Let's turn it up to halfway on the level. Let's go to plate, see what it sounds like here. Turn the tone down a little bit, decay down. Not sure I like the plate reverb on that particular song. In that song, there's a lot of reverb. Let's take the tone up on that one. I can tell when I like something because I just get lost in playing. So let's see what the shimmer sounds like. Okay, let's turn down the decay on that. Let's do the mash technology and see what that sounds like. Okay, let's go to modulation. Interesting. Lo-fi, low fidelity. So, what are my thoughts about this? The mash technology engages different things. For instance, on the room setting, hall setting, spring setting, plate setting, I believe it's the level, not necessarily the decay that changes. If I take the level over like this. Okay, let's stand up and do the button on that. Okay, so that's really what happens. On the church setting, I think it's the decay that is actually affected by the mash technology. All right, let's turn the decay down and check that out. What I recommend is that when you get a pedal, that you put it through its paces, that you try different settings, that you turn the volumes down all the way up, the decay down all the way up, the tone down all the way up, and that you actually get a good feel for what each setting does in the extreme side. Because you really don't know if you just barely turn it, but you do know when you do the extremes. And then what you do is you dial it into where you want it. If you like that setting, for instance, if I was going to do for that one, and let's say I wanted to find a reverb that'll work. Figure out the tone. That's too dark. That's too bright, so I need to bring it down. I think I want a little bit darker. I think I want the decay a little bit off. What I find is that when I'm playing, when I'm working with a sound, and I start to get lost in it, I start to get close to what I think that particular sound should be for that particular song. So I think what will happen is that as I work with this particular unit more and more, that I'll get to know its nuances, its subtleties. It takes a while for us to really learn something like this. Be patient with it. I recommend the Hall of Fame 2. I actually was given this by TC Electronic to check out. I like it a lot. I recommend it. It's a good unit. Thank you for coming along. This is Hal Stead for Quail Studios Guitar, helping you to become awesome on the guitar and in music in general. That's all I have for you. We'll see you later. Bye.